Okay, everybody, welcome. Let's start with a sound check. George says it's good. If George can hear it, it should be able to hear us in Newburgh. Right, George? Greta, you can hear us good? Okay. Scotty, you hear us good? All right. Cool. Well, welcome to our listening session tonight. Thank you for coming out and having Taco Tuesday with us at Patron. We appreciate it. We do, believe it or not, well, actually we got some business. I actually have to call a meeting to order. We have all of our commissioners here, so we have to call a meeting order. So we're officially, we don't need a motion yet. So the good news is we do learn. So the last listening session, I know a lot of you were there, and it was a great event. But we didn't have a microphone because we didn't know what kind of crowd to expect. And we had a couple comments afterwards that they could hear, but not real well. So hence the mic, you get us amplified tonight. Second, I think the lesson we're learning today is we may have to do it in an even bigger venue because we're packing the place out, which is fantastic. You all got a folder with you tonight, which is another lesson that we learned. And we've got all the pertinent information in that folder. And I'm going to let your assistant city manager fill you in on what's in your folder. If you didn't get one, throw your hand up right now and Angie will make sure you get one.
Thank you, everybody. It's good to see some familiar faces and some new faces. So the blue folder that you have on, I believe it's the left-hand side, has all the information if you want to volunteer for our numerous committees and boards that we have. There is also, looks like it's on the right-hand side. There's also some information regarding those boards and committees that tell you exactly what each of them do, so if you're interested in that. In addition, if some of you are not already signed up for our e-notify system, there is a card in there that will allow you to fill that out and you can get notified by text, email, of any upcoming or known water outages. And then on the left-hand side includes an agenda for tonight. So it's just a little outline of some of the things that are going to be hit on tonight. And on the back side of that, you will see that there's the schedule for the upcoming listening sessions, times and locations. There is a QR code, that's on there. If you utilize that, you can go on our website, and the presentation that is going to be shown tonight will be available on our website. And then just a reminder of when our board meetings are, the second and fourth Monday of each month at City Hall. And you can stay in touch with us on our website, Facebook, and Instagram now. So just reach out if you have any questions. So thanks again.
So I'm bad about this. If you don't know, my name is Will Lewis. I'm the mayor of Havelock. Most of you probably know me, but sometimes people are like, we didn't know who you were. And we're saying we're talking. I'm Will Lewis. And, we called a meeting to order today because we have 5 commissioners, and I believe they're all here. I'm going to try to get them all. Danny Walsh sitting right here. Brenda Wilson sitting right here. We've got Josh, Tyrone, and Karen. Sorry, I looked right over at Karen. All 4 are right here, so if you want a bum rush, there's 4 here. Brenda has tactically placed herself away from that group in the event that were to happen. Okay. So now you know that you're at a listening session on economic development and growth. If you thought you were here for a quinceañera or something like that, now you can exit quietly. I'll give you a second. No, everyone's here for economic development. Okay. So I'm going to start with a real brief, kind of what we're going to talk about today. We could spend the next week having conversations about economic development and growth. It's an incredibly large subject. Tonight we're kind of focusing on what the priorities of our Board of Commissioners are on economic development and growth and kind of how we see the future, and then listing a few opportunities that we know of that are related to that. So that's kind of just to set the stage on what we're going to look at today. Who's on the slide? Chad, you have a slide one? Some quick items to go through that we did talk about last time, but just in case you weren't here. If you're not aware, you guys are in charge. You choose a mayor and commissioners. Mayor and commissioners hire the city manager. City manager then is in charge of all the rest of the employees across all of our city departments and staff. This is your management team. They're in the room today. Your city manager is Mr. McGee. You're going to hear from him in a little bit. Cindy Morgan, your assistant city manager. Lee Tillman, Katrina, Chad, Travis, Patrick, Rick, Chris, all of y'all that are here. Some of you are already standing up. If you're standing up, raise your hand. So 3 of them are in the back, Patrick, Tom, and Rick. Angie's sitting down back there. Lee Tillman's up here. Katrina's next to me. Travis is in the window. There's Chief Morning back there. They've all moved to give y'all as much space as they can. And then, of course, Chad is over here running the computer. That's your department head team. So that's your brain trust that's leading all of your 133 employees every day and getting the job done. And they're here tonight in case you have a question for them that you don't want to ask publicly. I'll be happy to entertain any questions later. Real quick stats, just to set the stage. 133 employees in the city of Havelock. 47.5 miles of street. 6.3 square miles is about how big we are. Number of parks, we've got 12. Number of utility customers, which is water, sewer, solid waste, 5,761. 80 miles of sewer main, that's correct. You have almost twice as many sewer main miles as you do streets. Our population as of the 2020 census is 16,600. We were at 20,000 prior to that. And some of y'all heard a little bit more conversation about that last time. We think right now we're in the low 17,000 range is really where we are. And your average home value in Havelock right now is 120. However, the county is going through reevaluation as we speak. I think they pushed the button on the program last week, I was told, which takes a little while to run. And all of our evaluations are changing. But that's what it was at a snapshot of time today. On your taxes, our general tax rate is 59 cents per 100. Our ad valorem tax base, 796 million. By the way, again, subject to change with the new reevaluation. When we charge you 1 cent of tax, the city of Havelock gets $79,600. Our general fund this year, $15.5 million. Water fund, excuse me, almost $3 million. Sewer fund, 4.6. Solid waste, that's our trash pickup. We had a conversation earlier today about recycling trash. Recycle's the county. We still are happy to help you with your recycle issues, but we run the trash program, and that's what you see under solid waste. Tourist and Event Center Fund, 473, E911, 234, for a total of this year's budget about $25 million. Now, over the last couple of years, the Board of Commissioners and staff have put together a city mission, core values, and some principles of excellent service. A lot of y'all have seen these before. They're not that new. I think we're at about 2 years of having them. But I think the thing to focus on really is the principles of excellent service. The things that the board said to staff, these are the things you need to be paying attention to whenever we're doing anything in the city, whatever it is, including economic development and growth. That's concern for the individual, respect for personal liberties, unified team, taking ownership, embracing innovation, transparency, professionalism, public confidence, and efficiency. All right, so I'm going to hand the mic over to Chris McGee to give you a quick snapshot of where we're starting with economic development, and then we're going to tag team back and forth a little bit Beastie Boys style. I don't think we're going to sing, but it'll be kind of that style. All right.
I thought I was here for timeshares. So economic development and growth. What is economic development? The process for encouraging business and residential development to boost our local economy. Basically, the idea is we increase or improve our tax base. We provides employment opportunities. And improves the quality of life in your community and in our community. Two components of that are commercial development. That's our retails and restaurants. As we get additional restaurants and additional retail, that's a big focus on the tax base. I've had this conversation with the mayor, and the the average household, the taxes for property tax for an average home is probably anywhere from $700 to $900. The heavy lift and the big taxes come from your commercial properties, restaurants, because they're valued, so much higher. Walmart, food line grocery stores. But residential development and housing is a big component as well. How do we grow where people live? Two things to take away. The market drives retail and the market drives the housing market, and how many homes, new homes, rebuilding homes, that's all driven by the market. The city doesn't really get a whole lot of say in that, other than we're here to facilitate that. If somebody wants to open a new business or build new homes, we're here to help them get through the process. Let's see, next slide. I think this is where we're tag teaming.
So this past year we completed our Campbell land use plan, and some of you in the room here tonight were on that team that helped put together our Campbell land use plan. And as we were going through it, one of the questions that went out in the survey that the contractors did on our behalf of the city was to talk about what some of the top assets were in Havelock. And this does have a lot of, so we'll start with the first Marine Career Station Cherry Point, right? And so a lot of people don't think about that as economic development and growth, but Marine Career Station Cherry Point is a $2.3 billion with a B dollar economic impact to East North Carolina. And that spreads out across 4 counties and all the municipalities inside of it. But we're fortunate to actually host that. We are their host city. They're within our city limits over there. That is the contractors that are doing the work. That's the Marines, the sailors, the FRC employees. That's cars purchased, insurance bought, houses, gas, groceries, goes on. 2.3 billion. Can't be ignored from an economic development perspective, and how important it is to protect that. Our US 70 location was listed as an asset, close-knit community, water access, and natural resources. So, and you probably can't read all this from way back in the back, but this was a survey question that went out in the process that said, what are the most important issues facing Havelock in the future? And this was our own, you guys, our own citizens that received these surveys. And one of the very top one was redevelopment of distressed areas. And I think we all agree on that. The second one was vacant buildings. The third one was marketing of Havelock. All 3 of which were chosen by citizens as top priorities, and they're all economic development and growth. That's why we chose this one as the first one after general government, because obviously the community agrees economic development and growth is a priority, not just ours. And then if you looked at all the rest of them, planning for the bypass, vacant land, housing inventory, economic diversification, all of that is economic development. So over 75% of that list that you guys chose in the survey was economic development.
So some of the considerations that we have to give in the face of economic development, along with our developers and our business owners, is geography. And we have a geography here that's unlike a lot of other places. Havelock is by the Patron National Forest, Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point, and the Neuse River and its tributaries. We have a map later that you can take a look at, and all the federal property is in a darker gray, Weyerhaeuser property is in a lighter gray, and then a lot of the other properties that could be developed or redeveloped are in their zoning color. And I think you will realize just how long and narrow and tight our constraints are. Another thing that we have to consider is infrastructure. We have an aging infrastructure, and we have another session just to talk about infrastructure, so I won't go too deep into it here, but that's one of the considerations. It's the infrastructure we already have, and what infrastructure do we have to expand in order to meet the needs of water and sewer and streets and those kinds of things for new businesses and new residents. How do we want to approach this? Well, what we're doing now, what we're seeing, categories of modernization and upgrades. Highway 70 East, the New Mexican restaurant is being modernized down there and will open not too far down the street. Good Vibes is a wine and coffee bar. Potential repurposed space, the legal building, Westbrook Shopping Center, new construction. We have a Starbucks, a UPS store, a couple other things coming there, and residential construction. We know Woodfield Landing Apartments is coming, and then there's some development opportunity off Belltown Road as well. Some other focus areas, existing opportunities, things that we want to do here in Havelock to support and grow businesses that are already here. And when I say we in Havelock, I mean not just the employees of the city of Havelock, but the citizens here in the city of Havelock. You're here tonight, you're supporting your local business by being here and needing to. But some of the ones recently are, Tandem Lock is looking to expand. They have expanded. I've had conversations with them. They've got future plans to expand here in Havelock. Carolina Cupcakes in the bargains. And then future opportunities. What does Highway 70 West going to Newbern look like for the city of Havelock? How do we expand that way? And then as the bypass is completed, Lake Road will open up a lot of other opportunities geographically that may or may not this year be open right now. This is just a snapshot of a few things that are some recent development projects over the last 4 years. I'll highlight just a few of them. The Cookout, Woodfield Cove Apartments, GSA building in a warehouse in an industrial park here. If you've not been back there, they're building a new building that looks like it's about 2 football fields long. So there really is a lot of growth. And again, this is a very short list. There's a lot that we can put on here. Okay, so Mayor, this is transportation.
So back up, and I'm going to just recap kind of what you heard. So, because we're not going to stand up here and talk for long, because we really want y'all to drive the conversation and ask questions as a group for us to answer. But first priority for the board is looking at infill development, right? And that's what we were talking about when we redevelop the building. The second one being support our already businesses so they can grow. Right? And so the examples of Tandem Lock and Carolina Cupcakes and Endless Bargains are ones that the community have supported in a way that they've grown as business. That's just a few. And we have to support our existing business. In a city our size, most of your economic growth is going to come from your current businesses being successful. That's proven across the entire country. So we have to support our business. So that's part 2. And then part 3 being the new opportunities, Lake Road and the bypass. When we talk about infrastructure, we're only going to hit it real quick because we've got an infrastructure one 2 sessions from now, and believe me, we can talk about infrastructure for a month and a half. When you think about water, sewer, and the things you've got to have for a new business or your current businesses to be successful. The other one is roads, transportation. There are a lot of businesses that don't want to come to a city if the traffic's not the way they want it. They look at traffic patterns, they look at traffic studies. So there are a couple major projects coming through Havelock. The first one, I'm positive you all know about, or you literally moved here today, which is the Highway 70 Havelock bypass. It is on schedule, ahead of schedule a little bit, and the plan right now is we'll be driving on it in May of 2024, which is shade ahead of schedule. And of course, if you don't know, this is a freeway, right? It's going to be in excess of 70 miles an hour, divided freeway with a 46-foot median going all the way around Havelock. Starts at Carolina Pines and ends down here by the other side of the movie theater. Okay. Next one, in the middle of that bypass, is going to be the Lake Road interchange. And DOT's plan is to push the majority of traffic must come in the middle of Havelock, right down the road. And so they'll come in on Miller. Any of you that have driven in that intersection and up and down Miller know that today there's 10,000 cars. We make that 20,000, that's going to be a challenge, and DOT has recognized that. So North Carolina DOT has this project, which some of you are familiar with. We call it affectionately U3431, which is the 101 Miller Boulevard expansion, and it would start all the way at the end where the railroad tracks are, where Lake Road and Miller intersect. And then it becomes a 4-lane divided road all the way out of Havelock, across in front of the base, down Highway 101 until you get to Outer Banks Drive where our industrial park is. And At the railroad end by Lake Road, there's going to be a roundabout to the west side of the railroad tracks where you'll come in, you'll have a roundabout to flow around for whichever direction you're going to go. So say you're coming in from one of the neighborhoods down there and you want to go to the main gate, you'll use the roundabout, go down Miller, and across to the main gate. This project, the timeline's been bumped around several times, but right now they're talking about potential construction of September 2028, which sounds like a long way away, but it's only 5 years away, and they've got a lot to do to get there. But it's to coincide with the completion of the bypass so that when they're shoving all those cars into Havelock, they're not congested. And by the way, if you can't alleviate that traffic congestion coming off the bypass, we won't have the capacity for growth. That's why these transportation projects are important. These are both NCDOT. I don't want you to think they're Havelock projects. They're not. These are North Carolina Department of Transportation projects. We do get input. They bring us the project, we get to tell them what we think, maybe make suggestions, try to get some minor changes, and sometimes we're successful at that. But again, it's a North Carolina Department of Transportation project. They do what they want to do on their roads. We're just trying to be a good partner and give them as much input as we can. Okay, this one's an example of something we're doing that is a little bit, you might think it's a little out of the box of economic development and growth, but it's important. So you can have all the cool stuff in the world in your city, but if nobody can find it, you might as well not have it or they're going to fail, right? So we are in the process now of putting together a wayfinding signage project. Actually, it's already out on the street now. We received a $100,000 grant from the state of North Carolina in order to start this project. And what it'll do is it's going to put signs that look something similar to the signs on the right-hand side of this screen around the city of Havelock in places so that you can find what you're looking for. So this is an example of one that might be right out here where we're at right now. Tourist and Event Center, aviation exhibits, Slocum Creek Park, walking trails, and then some that send you further. Like if you want to go to City Hall, stay straight, don't turn right. And we'll have ones on there like the library, because I'm still surprised by people in Havelock that say, where's the library? We have a library? And we do. Craven County Havelock Public Library right over by the Craven Community College. We have a community college, which most people know about, but if you're visiting, say your child is stationed at Cherry Point, and we get this a lot, you come to visit, or your aunts and uncles come to visit you while you're here, and they want to do something for the day and they don't know where to go. So we're going to put wayfinding signage up around Havelock. The first phase will be pretty small, and we're hitting key attractions. And so we've listed some up here, like I said, Tourist Event Center, Rec Center, Senior Center, Waterfront Park, etc., City Hall Government Complex. But we're designing it in a way that it can be expanded to be done in phases. So if this phase is really successful and we think it's really working well, we can go to the next level phase until we've really lined out everything in Havelock of significant note to either a visitor or someone who's been here for a year and just doesn't quite know where to go yet. Library is an example, I still have people saying they don't know we have a Tourist and Event Center back here. We just had a 20th anniversary for that. So, and this fits that marketing piece we talked about. And again, in that survey I mentioned at the beginning, the citizens, you guys in that survey said marketing of Havelock was important. And so this is one step that we're taking initially to market kind of within ourselves and the visitors. I think that's the last slide before we just talk about getting in touch with us. So this is a reminder, and I can do this again later if you want. Our board meetings are at 7 o'clock on second and fourth Mondays of every month. Second Monday of the month's a workshop. That's where the sausage kind of gets made. The fourth one is where we do our regular meeting where we really pass things, spend money and pass policy or ordinances, etc. We do have a public comments phase in that fourth meeting of the fourth Monday of the month, and we love it when people come to speak to us. We have our website, still pretty new and redesigned. If you have not been on it in the last year, it's way better than it used to be. I'll be nice and say our old one was dated. It's as nice as I can be, probably. The new one's way better. It's 2023 when you go to our website now. Facebook, Instagram, and then just a reminder, I do office call. That's what Commissioner Candy's got me calling it now because y'all Marines don't like office hours. We've been calling office hours for years. From 3 to 5 on Mondays, I'm always in the office for citizens. And that's just a guaranteed time that if you call up and you say, I want to come in at 3:30 on Monday, I'm going to be there, and they'll put you in the queue, and I will be with you about whatever you like. But it is not limited to 3 to 5 on Monday. We just have that locked down. Any of you that ever want to meet with me, or manager, or commissioner, or anybody else, if you call City Hall and set it up, I'll come in any day that I can. I'll come in the evenings. Matter of fact, on board meeting nights, we extend those hours till 6:30, so that if you work till 5 and you want to meet with the mayor, we can sit down at 6 o'clock in between the business day and the meeting. So anyway, that's all to say we want to hear from you. And we do. It's truthful. We've kept the presentation brief tonight. We have made it in under 30 minutes because we didn't want to stand up here and preach about economic development, because really we want you guys to drive the discussion. So now you can feel free to ask whatever you want, either about the way we laid out our priorities or a specific question. We can talk about economic development and growth, which is what we're here for. I'll also entertain other questions if you would like. We have enough friends here that I can phone a friend if I don't have the answer. Ms. Alter, you want to go first?